Tomorrow marks the 4-year anniversary for the Robb Elementary tragedy that happened in Uvalde, Texas. For my witnesses, here's a respectful timeline built from survivor accounts, investigations, and children who lived through it. On May 24, 2022, 18-year-old Salvador Ramos shot his grandmother in their home in Uvalde, Texas, using an AR-15 style rifle. Despite her injuries, she stayed alive long enough to call for help. Ramos stole his grandmother's truck and drove towards Robb Elementary School, carrying heavy rounds of ammunition. Around 11:28 a.m., he crashed the truck into a ditch nearby the school. Workers from a nearby funeral home came out to check on him, and when he emerged from the truck, he began to fire at them before walking towards Robb Elementary campus with his rifle. Inside Robb Elementary, teachers had begun receiving alerts through their email about a possible danger nearby due to the crash and the gunfire that had been reported. According to survivor Mia from classroom 112, they were watching Lilo and Stitch when the situation began unfolding, and teacher Eva Morales and Irma Garcia began to sense that something nearby was wrong. Teacher Irma Garcia moved towards the classroom door to secure it. Survivor accounts that the shooter was already near the exterior of the door before she got to the window. He began to fire through the small glass window in classroom 112 before moving to classroom 111 to fully enter there. Ramos then began to fire into classroom 111's small window before fully entering classroom 111, which was unlocked. In classroom 111, teacher Arnulfo Reyes and his students were present. Ramos began firing immediately, killing all of the students in teacher Arnulfo Reyes' class and critically injuring him, but he did end up surviving his injuries. Ramos moved through the interior connecting doors to enter classroom 112. Inside classroom 112 was students Mia Sorello and Chloe Torres. Mia later testified that the room became chaotic within seconds. Once Ramos entered the classroom, students began hiding under desks. Some were injured during the attack. She said she was even struck during the attack. She also later testified that she survived due to listening to Chloe by covering herself with one of her classmates' blood and pretending to be dead throughout the rest of the ordeal. Chloe Torres actually called 911, and she remained on the phone with 911 dispatchers throughout most of the attack. One thing that stuck with me that Chloe did later state was the separation between her and her best friend Amory that happened as soon as the shooter entered through the connecting doors of classroom 112. She does state that her and Amory were holding hands before the shooter came into the class, and she was trying to get Amory to come on the side of the classroom that she was on, but that Amory was trying to get to a cell phone to call for help, and so she did end up going to a different side of the classroom to where unfortunately she did get struck and succumb to her injuries. Outside the school, it was already a large crowd of terrified parents begging the officers to go in and get their children. Some were even restrained from going in and getting them themselves. As you can see in this body cam still, officer arrives within 3 minutes of the shooter initially entering the classrooms, but no officers entered the classroom until 77 minutes later. For over an hour, students and teachers remained in the classrooms with the shooters, taunting them, calling them names, while they called 911, waiting for police to arrive while they were just waiting in the hallway. At approximately 12:50 p.m., police force finally has a tactical team to breach the classroom and kill Salvador Ramos. By the end of the attack, 19 children and 2 teachers had been killed. Teacher Eva Morales to my left and teacher Irma Garcia to my right both succumbed to their injuries, protecting their students from Salvador's rampage. Survivors like Mia Sorello, Chloe Torres, and Arnulfo Reyes all later shared their accounts of what happened that day publicly, helping investigators and the public fully understand what happened in those classrooms on May 24, 2022. The aftermath led into major investigation into law enforcement responses, communication failures, and emergency protocol breakdowns. For the families in Uvalde, this isn't something that ended that day. It is something that they continue to live with every day. For my witnesses, remember, this is not about retelling the story for shock. It is about honoring 19 children and 2 teachers, and acknowledging a moment in time that exposed failures, pain, and a community that will never be the same. We'll forever remember Robb Elementary. We'll forever remember Uvalde. We'll forever stay Uvalde strong. A day that'll never be forgotten for lives taken too soon. I wish the families nothing but peace during these hard times. Thank you guys for watching.